Good morning, everybody. I told you I would be back later this week, and here I am. Um, as you all know, I am the love goddess of the Voodoo Institute, owner of the Hoodoo shop. You can subscribe to my Patreon, as you all see. Wait, hold on. Yeah, right there. Subscribe to my Patreon. Um, Before we get started, before we go over 3 love herbs for Scorpio season during this wonderful Scorpio season, we're gonna first just touch on a bit of news. So, as you all know, having Black Friday sales. Hi, Lovey, how are you? We're having Black Friday sales at the Hoodoo shop. Everything is 10% off. So, if you look in the description below, I just put everything down there instead of going through all the struggles and troubles of trying to put it in the comments and stuff. But that's neither here nor there. We're gonna go ahead and get started because we're just gonna move through this really quickly. So I hope everyone can hear me okay. We're gonna go ahead and start off with the first herb. So today we're going over 3 love herbs for Scorpio season. Why? Because it's still Scorpio season, and I've been very much getting the feeling of everyone going through some prominent love troubles at this particular moment in time. So we're just gonna go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first herb that I chose is hibiscus. I absolutely love hibiscus. You need to write down everything that I said. I'm also gonna go through the correspondences as well. So hibiscus. Hibiscus is a fire and water herb. It's actually the Taurus in the zodiac signs. Taurus represent the number 5. Um, well, they're governed by the number 5. It's feminine. It's governed by the West. It's ruled by Venus. It comes in the colors pink, yellow, orange, and a few more, but we're just gonna talk about those 3 colors. So let's talk about Taurus, right? So Taurus in the tarot is the high priest. It's a sign of transformation. It represents the 5 senses, so your ability to touch, feel, smell, hear, see, taste, um, and all of those great things. Um, what else? What else? It's also great for tuning spiritual gifts. That sounds very odd, but Taurus, the zodiac sign for Taurus, is great for that because of its relation to the 5 senses. So keep that in mind. Um, it can be used to power your work. So I would use Taurus symbol if I needed an extra boost in the work that I was doing. Um, it can help when it comes to issues of difficulty. So I would use it when it comes to hibiscus, and considering what we're talking about at this time, I would use it to change. It's used to change your circumstances or outcome. So when using it in love work, say for instance, if the situation is foretold not to be very positive, or this individual that you like um, does not return the same affections, I would use hibiscus to change their mind, particularly Taurus, to change their mind. And oddly enough, the number 5 is also the number for change in numerology. So we're going to keep going. You know what I'm saying? Let me just drop some knowledge on y'all. So yes, it represents change. It also represents your health. It represents your pain, and it can also represent rebirth. So Taurus tend to be is a very strong, resilient zodiac sign. As you all know, it is an earth sign. So Taurus would be used in issues of heartbreak. When it comes to love work, I would use Taurus to change one's perception on how the outcome of the situation actually is. A lot of times when we are heartbroken, we perceive the situations a lot worse than they actually are. So I would use the Taurus sigil or symbol, or I would use Taurus energy, herbs such as hibiscus that carries Taurus energy and the ability to do self love work and the energy to heal one in those particular areas. That's what I would use it for. So write that down. We're going to keep going. And rebirth, I'm not going to go into that because y'all know what rebirth means. So Taurus and people can present themselves as very lustful. That's why we use it. Very playful, adaptive, adventurous, curious. People who may be good or adaptive conversationalists. I'm reading out of my notes. My notes for this class. That's why I'm looking down. So I wrote that down for a reason. Um, the reason why I wrote that down in this particular situation is for the absolute obvious. Being adaptive in conversation is important. Yes, it's important to stand your ground and be firm in what you say and your beliefs. Because no one likes someone who's unstable in what they say or confused in their words. Because it looks as if you don't have foundation. But it's also very, very good for you to be able to adapt to other people's way of conversating or other people's way of understanding. So, Taurus is actually very good to use in issues of diplomacy and issues of business connections. So, if I need to have a conversation with a whole nother business or another institution, and we need to do a collaboration, I need for this conversation to go really well. Or for those of you that need to have conversations with your boss, grand rising to you too. um this is what you would use it for. The issues regarding getting a new job, talking someone into doing something that you want them to do. So a very persuasive sign. In interpretation. So it can be interpreted. Oh, they also present the energy of energetic, and they can present themselves as rather restless. Um, and the sign, or in this particular case, it can also be used to inspire feelings in another person. So y'all, y'all, y'all see what I'm talking about. We're gonna keep going. Um, So interpretations, temptation, pleasure, loving someone, the birth of a child, so pregnancy. The number 5, once again, can also represent the beginning of a family or things of that nature, depending on the context. We're going to keep going. Attracting important people to you, so business, already said that. Suffering of the body, suffering of the health. So I would use it to heal a broken heart, like I said before, or emotional health. Can y'all hear me? Because I realized I just started going on. I'm gonna keep going. Um, so we're moving on from Taurus. That was one correspondence. We need to move on. The next correspondence is Venus, of course. Venus, Mama Venus is governed by, well, she governs attraction, affection, love magic. The sense of touch, art, pleasure, beauty, luxury. Venus is feminine, passive, warm, inviting. Once again, why we use it for love magic, because it's something you need to be rather inviting for. Um, Moist, sex magic. Fruitful, which makes her prosperous, and prosperity in the form of luck. Well, this is what I have observed from Mother Venus is prosperity in the form of luck and or good fortune or benefit. So situations just going my way. um how do I explain this? So like for Baba Jupiter, how you would go to him for your financial needs, financial stability, your grounding, representing the number 4, stabilizing you in your wealth. You will go to Mother Venus when it just comes to, well, I'm not gonna say it just, but when it comes to luck. Like I said, this is my personal observation. Everybody's experiences with the planets and whatnot are different. I can tell you what I have learned. So, what else? What else? What else? So she also governs the throat, so speech, communication. She can govern one's willpower and their self-control. Uh, so once again, obvious why we use it for love work. In the veins. So once again, a tip from my grimoire to yours. So when it comes to governing the veins, something about me, my love work is very heavy-handed. My love magic is extremely heavy-handed. So when it comes to Mother Venus governing the veins, it makes it great for love dolls. say for instance, like drawing the veins. I'm gonna do a workshop with Hugan actually, uh, sometime soon. So I'll give you guys the date for that soon. But I would draw the veins onto the doll, and that would give me control over this other person. Using Mother Venus, I would use it to control this person's emotions and affections towards me, maybe even their bodily movements if I could take it that far. But don't try that without proper training, because you don't know what you're doing. And you're going to get yourself into something and you're not going to know how to get yourself out. So yeah, and I wrote down Venus will govern the doll. So that's for root work specifically. You can come to me to get something like that done. I don't mind doing it. So that's beside the point. We're gonna keep going, guys. So Venus also rules your music, your love, entertainment, and your sociability, your ability to get along with other people comfortably. We're gonna move on from Venus and go into the colors now. So we're gonna start off with pink, and this is talking. We're still on the herb hibiscus, so keep that in mind. So pink hibiscus is used to attract lovers, attract opportunities, and keep in mind these are also the correspondences for the color pink. Attract friends, money. They're once again used for issues of diplomacy, your ability to make decisions, in this case regarding relationships, friendships, or marriage. Write that down. Um, can be used to make people agreeable, so it's persuasive, inspire spiritual awakenings, specifically through meditation. And that's aimed towards the color pink as a whole. So if you're having issues with your meditation, you can also use the color pink, wear the color pink, um, fall asleep with the color pink if you have like tempered lights like I do. Um, wrap your head in pink for a day, bring you some, calmness. What else? Some peace, some joy. To attract a lover, put pink on your head. Um, let's keep going on. Pink is also used to help you through transitional phases. So, once again, issues regarding getting out of a relationship. If you're having a hard time getting over this person, I would use pink. Um, pink is not just for the love of two, is for the love of one as well. It should always start off as the love of one. It can also be used for defense, so to protect relationships. I think of the color pink, I feel like it's highly underestimated. And there are times where I have used the color pink as a sweet warning because I can come off very sweet, but there's a lot of venom in what I say. And the warnings that I say are not loud, they're actually very they have rather good temperament, which can be very alarming to a lot of people. So when I think of that, I think of the color pink. Say, for instance, if somebody was fucking with someone that I'm dealing with, or say, for instance, if you have an issue with someone. Now, I know a lot of people say that's not hot enough. Well, that's why you tweak the work to make it hotter if necessary. But you don't have to go chopping people off because they fucking with your boyfriend. That's not your boyfriend. Sometimes you just need to inspire a little fear, and that's all I'm saying. Um, uh-huh. So I use it so people learn hard lessons, and I wrote down like flowers. So for those of you that don't know, a hibiscus, if you've ever seen it, it's the entire flower head. When I work with it, I often use the entire head. Um, flowers can be used when it comes to disguising work that you've done. People underestimate flowers because they're very pretty. So keep that in mind. So sweet warnings and hard lessons. I've warned you once. Now I'm gonna kick your ass, and ain't nobody gonna know. But you gonna know. You gonna know. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. So the next color is the color yellow. The color yellow. Love the color yellow. Um, if you all watched the last video that I did on wintertime blues, um, we went over the color yellow and how it's often used for depression, or how it should be used for depression more, or issues of antidepressant things of that nature. But we're gonna keep going. So yellow hibiscus, yellow in general inspires joy. This is the hibiscus that you would use for a marriage. Um, it's used to root or stabilize a marriage or friendship. Keep in mind, I'm reading this from my notes, so write this down. Protection, specifically to protect the home. So I would definitely plant yellow hibiscus bushes outside of my home or specifically in the backyard around like a fence because they're going to keep away intruders. For some reason, I feel like they'll keep away a certain kind of dogs, animals, certain kind of animals too. I'm not sure about what kind of animals. We can go into that later. Um, the color yellow is used to unify. So in this particular case, and I want you to make a note of this because this is extremely important to bring the ancestors forward or to make them present. So if you're having issues connecting with your ancestors, talking to them, calling them forward, I would do work using yellow hibiscus, even giving them yellow hibiscus as an offering, like a gift. Um, what else? Remembering that the petals are pay homage to your feminine ancestors and the stems pay homage to the masculine. Um, a note from the garden goddess. Um, they're used to inspire success. So success in your work, success in your business, concentration, focus, and determination. Um, it also inspires you to take pride in your business. So you would use it if you're a practitioner, use it to inspire an entrepreneur. Write that down. Use it to inspire an entrepreneur. Can be used to inspire creativity, progression, ownership, accountability, confidence, and courage. So ownership and accountability. Going back into how it's used for love work, I would use this for men, like yellow hibiscus for men that have issues taking accountability in how relationships have gone wrong. Um, and I'm not taking a hit at men. I'm saying this specifically because it's just tailored specifically to them. This particular flower seems to be. I would use this flower for uh issues of infidelity within marriages, issues of immaturity, and for baby daddy issues if the man is making the situation harder than it needs to be. Specifically issues dealing with the man. So write that down. Um I would use it for masculine women as well that have issues in that area. Issues that have, I mean, women that have issues with accountability and take a responsibility for the role that they have played in these situations. So if I had a really immature client, write that down. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Um, hmm, hmm, hmm. Okay, so we're almost done. It's also used to inspire confidence and courage as well. Instability in the mind, spirit, body, and home. So maybe keep fresh yellow hibiscus in your home, like in a bouquet. Have it be one of the first focal points that people see when they walk into your home. Write that down. Y'all gonna get tired of me saying that shit. Write that down. Um, the color orange. We're gonna move on to orange. So I don't know if you've ever seen orange hibiscus, but they look like a blooming sunset. They're absolutely beautiful. They can sometimes be hard to come by, but for those of you that don't know, I live in California. Hibiscus are native here, so they grow everywhere. Um, orange. Once again, talking about orange hibiscus and the color orange as a correspondence. Y'all need to be writing this down for those of y'all that are in mentorship at the School of African Magic. Y'all need to be writing this down on y'all's correspondence sheets because I'm actually answering y'all's correspondence sheets for y'all. Look, write that down. So the color orange can be used for joy. It's actually used for friendship. Orange is a very prominent color of friendship. In this particular case, so orange hibiscus, once again, I would use it to rekindle friendships or inspire neutral reality. So say for instance, you and a friend are arguing or y'all have something that you just can't seem to agree upon. If this friendship actually means that much to you, I would use orange hibiscus to calm the situation down. There's no reason for me to use work to try to control this other person or anything like that. You don't want to overstep boundaries. So orange hibiscus is the way to go, depending on how it's used. Because, you know. Whew. Okay, let's keep going. So, and orange can also be is also a color that can be used for control. So that's why I said depending on your intentions. So, orange is used for inspiration, so creative inspiration. Say, for instance, if you're a writer that's having creative block, if you're a teacher or a professor that's having an issue with your lesson plans, if you're a content creator like the majority of us, you know, you're having an issue thinking about another class to teach, orange. Um, Particularly orange hibiscus. Uh, and projects that require a lot of intelligence slash intellect. So issues of that as well. So I would use the orange hibiscus if I needed to write a speech. Yeah, with other herbs, of course. But I would maybe like orange hibiscus tea or something of that nature to give me the concentration and focus and know-how and knowledge that I needed to get the job done. So write that down. It's also used to inspire self-control. Um, so orange hibiscus can be used to prevent you from moving too fast in a relationship or moving too fast with a partner. So it can also be used to prevent self-sabotage. So if I was y'all, I would do orange hibiscus work if you know that you have a tendency to be impulsive, like myself. I'm a Leo. That's a whole lot of fire. Don't let us like somebody, okay? Because we start to take shit too far. So if this sounds familiar to you, orange hibiscus is the way to go. If you're thinking about doing love work and you don't, and the person that you're doing the work on doesn't require such a heavy hand, I would recommend orange hibiscus specifically to work you, maybe not necessarily this other person, because you're gonna need some self control and impulsiveness normally comes with the added on trait of self sabotage. So just putting that out there, not trying to throw no shade. Orange is also used for harmony, particularly in social relationships. So once again, friendships, business or work relationships, and I'm talking about casual relationships, or to keep a relationship with a boss neutral. Um, to promote comfortability in social settings as well. So if you know that you're the kind of person that tends to get nervous around other people, which is why I also said that this would be a good herb to use. This is a really good herb to use when it comes to writing a speech, or if you know that you're gonna like public speakers. Um, so yeah, so let's keep going. Um, the next herb is ivy. I'm gonna teach you how to use ivy. Um, Ivy is beautiful. Ivy is strong. Be careful working with Ivy because Ivy will work you. So let's talk about Ivy. So Ivy is ruled by the zodiac signs, of course, Scorpio and Gemini. Is governed by the planet Saturn. It's actually governed by the season autumn, and I'm gonna explain that to you as well. Um, Is ruled by the number 11. It's feminine. Is governed by air and, of course, water and earth. But in this particular case, we're going to focus on the air element. So, ivy is used for binding. Uh, it's used for attraction work, but it's used for the intentions of binding this person to you or for the relationship not to be removed. So, yeah, you may not be with this person, but this is the kind of work you would do on your boyfriend that's not your boyfriend, that's your boyfriend. Your baby daddy who can't seem to act right, you don't want him to move in, but you don't want him going nowhere. That's what you would use ivy for. Which is why I said be very careful because you have to be sure there is no in between when it comes to ivy. Either she finna go all the way or you're gonna have to break the work. That's how far that can go. So we're gonna go ahead and get started because now I feel like y'all are intrigued and excited and that worries me. So we're gonna start off with Scorpio again. So let's start off with okay. So those with their sun sign in Scorpio express their will, creativity, and passion through connecting with others in intimate ways. So very passionate, very deep, very overpowering love energy. I can't necessarily call it love because I've discovered that a lot of it is just infatuation. Not to say that when a Scorpio doesn't love is very deep, because that's very true, but the energy of Scorpio is often mistaken for love, and it's not love. It's an extremely deep infatuation, which is what a lot of us are feeling right now because of the season, not because of these actual people. We let ourselves like somebody a little too much. Y'all know who I'm talking about. It's okay. It's happening to everybody. Okay. So, So, they tend to feel things deeply, passionately, richly, sometimes even to the point of destruction. And that's why I said that. So be careful. Uh, hello, love. How are you? Um, when used in love work slash work dealing with attraction, binding, deep uh deep rooted emotions, it can result in obsession. So let me repeat that because I don't feel like I made my point clearly enough. Okay, so sometimes even to the point of destruction, which is why I told y'all to be careful when used in love work dealing with attraction, binding, deep rooted emotions, or deeply felt emotions. um it can result in obsession and self sabotage. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. So keep those things in mind when working with Ivy and even the sign Scorpio when it comes to love work. Scorpio is great when it comes work. Scorpio is great when it comes to working with people that are already in a relationship, right? When it comes to working with people that are not in a relationship yet, you don't necessarily know what may happen. Or I may already know what's going to happen. The situation is going to implode, not because of the work, but because the energy is too strong. And now you got people acting the fuck out because the emotions were never stable anyway. There was no foundations of the emotions here. You just wanted something quick, fast, and hurry, and that's what I did. And now y'all yelling at each other, cussing each other out on the phone. It's not because of the work. It's because y'all's emotions are unstable. Hmm. I said what I said. Write that down. Okay. So, um, let's keep going. They also tend to represent, well, the Scorpio, the sign, represents deepening in life what is important to you. So, finding your purpose. Um, similar to the sign Leo, but purpose wise, not in like attributes, I guess I should say. Even though Scorpios and Leos do have interesting similar tendencies, but in the fiery ways. Yeah, we're gonna keep going. So next, we're gonna talk about the planet Saturn, because as y'all know, we went over it. Scorpio, Saturn, Autumn. Okay, let's keep going. So Saturn, Saturn governs your sorrow, um, or it can rule your sorrow, rules your sorrow. Um, which means it can be used to heal after heartbreak, of course, divorce, etc. I would definitely use Ivy when it comes to issues of splitting up, divorce, specifically issues when there's a child involved and there's like a divorce to make things move by smoothly. I would use Ivy to remove, uh, to displace a lot of the sorrow that was felt so the situation can just go ahead and get done. Not to say that I would remove that person's emotions because you can't do that. You can't take people's emotions away. And if you think that that's possible, you're out of your fucking mind. You can combat people's emotions, but you can't remove them, or you can't just put emotions there. You can inspire them, but you can't. That's trying to play God. We're not going to go over that today, though. So I would use. Ivy to put those emotions to the side for the time being. Once again, Saturn's also used when it comes to issues of accountability, and I will also use Ivy when it comes to issues of dealing with childhood trauma. So we're gonna keep going. Uh, Ivy is also used to stretch a relationship. Well, that's what I would use it for in this particular case when we're talking about love herbs during Scorpio season. To stretch a relationship or to delay the inevitable. Um, Sometimes we know a situation's not going to work, but we're not willing to let it go yet. Sometimes you have to allow things to run their course. Um, and that could be difficult to do. Uh, So, although I shouldn't encourage you all to do this, I'm going to give you this information anyway. If you're not ready for it to be over, ivy is a good herb to use with other herbs, of course. I mean, you don't have to, though. You use ivy by itself, but I would just be careful. I would be careful. Because what won't end now is going to end eventually. So, just keep that in mind. But I would use it to stretch a relationship, delay the inevitable, postpone what's supposed to happen here just so I can spend more time around this person, if those were your intentions. Um, Saturn also, well, that's what I would. You can use Ivy for this, but I was referring to Saturn as well. That's what you would use Saturn for when it comes to this particular, in this particular group of intentions. So it also governs your sense of hearing. So, say for instance, if you have listening issues, it can be hard sitting there listening to somebody talk. That's just the God's honest truth. So, if someone were to come to you saying that they had an issue, or if you have an issue with, once again, great correspondence to use for men, just because it fits them better. So, if you're having an issue with him not listening, I would use this particular herb. I would pay attention to herbs governed by Saturn, but I would pay attention to the rest of the correspondences for that herb as well. Hi, love. How are you? Let's keep going. Um, yeah, and I wrote that down, but maybe not necessarily for love purposes. More for calculating situations, the ability to think, the ability to transmit information, which is why I said that if you're going to work with Saturn energy, I would be careful. Like if I use Ivy for a situation like that, I would use Rose as well if I was doing the work for a client. So it would inspire, yeah, it's going to bring about that response that you want from them, but it's also going to have that feeling of affection as well. So you don't just feel like they're listening to you because they have to. Let's keep going. So, and it's because of the fact that it's so calculating. This is an important reason why ivy is used as a root. It having a lot of Saturn energy is what makes it so prominent because it has a lot to do with its ability to control. Write that down. So we're gonna go into autumn, the season. Damn, 33 minutes. Okay, we're gonna keep going. Okay, so autumn. This is my personal opinion. Um, Based off my experience, my intuition, and whatnot. So we're gonna keep going. The season autumn. So, in my opinion, I believe that this is when Valentine's Day should be around this time of year because it makes more sense. Okay, hear me out. The energy is richer. It carries the lover's energy, even if it's impulsive and not the healthiest. Um, And this is the time of Libra and Scorpio season, two of the richest lover signs that there are. So, temptation is the energy of temptation, the season of temptations, season to inspire these situations, and it's also the season of pregnancy. Be careful. Be careful. In my experiences specifically, new moon phases are very rough, passionate, deep, They carry a repetitive cycle between the new and full moon phases during this time of year. I'm talking, yeah, during this time of year. Um, its element is water, surprisingly, but it makes perfect sense, doesn't it? And I even wrote this down, but this would explain the emotional shifts or change in energy. The color orange is prominent, of course, during the season, as you all know, because it's fall. And the directions are, what does that say? Northwest, west? I can't read that, but you get my point. And then the tarot is the cups. In the tarot, it's the cups. So for those of you that read the tarot, write that down. And if you don't read the tarot, write that down. So we're gonna keep on. And of course, zodiac signs are Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius. So let's go over the number 11. Let's go over the number 11. Um, I love the number 11, even though it prominently gets on my nerves. So let's talk about it. So the number 11 represents the jacks in the playing cards. As you all know, playing cards are my babies. Cartomacy is the way to go. No disrespect. The jacks can represent users or misusers of creativity. So immaturity. Those of us that are very immature and tend to use our magic for less responsible reasons at times, which we all do. I'm not telling you to do so. I'm just saying that it's normal. It's normal. You go into at least one time. Um, I wrote that down. So immaturity or can be used to influence immaturity, poor decision making, especially concerning the fact that it's very persuasive and deceitful. Um, it's tricky. It represents the pages in the tarot, meaning it's extremely adaptive with the ability to represent any gender, age, or sexual orientation. So a jack can be anybody, which is what makes it so great for love work, because love work has to be, like I said, extremely adaptive. What works for one person may not work for the other, but I would be careful about people who represent jacks in cartomancy, because it means that they are unreliable and untrustworthy and often deceitful, and have tricksters are the words that I would use. Uh, they often kind of remind you of a joker, but you can't really tell, so be careful. Um, let's keep going. Often referred to as the princes or princesses in cartomancy. And y'all, these notes are from like almost over 2 years ago from a class that's actually up on the School of African Magic. It's Hugon's what, numerology course? Yeah, it's his numerology course or the cartomancy course. Is one or the other. But make sure you go to the School of African Magic and you go study and get all of that wonderful free information. If I'm not mistaken, mentorship just started back up again, and then we have all of these beautiful mentorships that have just launched, like my good friends Hunzi Alicia Okos. Hers is coming December 1st. Y'all better get inside of the Garden Goddesses Palace before it's too late, because slots are running out. Y'all already know. And join Patreon. My mentorship won't be coming till next year, next March. So be prepared. Um, let's keep going though, y'all. Jacks often do not like a lot of responsibility. So I wouldn't use the jacks in love work if I wanted this person to stand on what they say. Me realizing, me just having an epiphany of my own work that I've done and how I misuse that particular symbol. Uh, work for myself though, not for anyone else. Um, so be careful. I wouldn't use it for a boyfriend unless you were trying to inspire. You have to be careful with your intentions when it comes to a jack. You have to know what it is that you want from this person if you're using a jack in the in cartomancy or in the playing cards. If you intend on attaching the symbol or having the symbol represent another person. I hope that makes sense. Um uh well, what else? Oh, they're very fun though, which makes them very much enchanting. It makes you curious about them, which makes them very good at drawing in others and claiming attention. They're very playful, They're often very selfish. They can be bribed and easily persuaded. They're very creative though, and can be an excellent source of creative energy. Um, they can also be dishonest with their words. Okay, so let's double back to a source of creative energy. Once again, great to use when it comes to issues regarding creative stumps. I would use a jack. Use a jack. Um, like the jack of diamonds, I would definitely use jack of diamonds. Jack of hearts, if I'm confused about what to do, ooh, no, I'm not gonna take advice from a jack. Don't do that. I wouldn't consult a jack about confusion regarding a love situation. But you can use a jack of diamonds when it comes to issues regarding your business. Or create, like I said, creative blocks. I would be careful about using a jack of spades. Um, I would definitely clarify because you have the potential for a jack of spades to hold more than one meaning and only present one to you, or you end up overlooking it. So always clarify. Um, what else? What else? What else? Um, damn it, I lost my place. Oh, they can also be dishonest with their words, themselves, and other people. So jacks are not. Uh, I don't want to defend them and say that they're not bad people, but jacks are often very confused themselves. Uh, people who represent jacks in cartomancy, um, they often don't have very good decision making skills. Um, I mean to say that they're often very immature. And not just putting other people in bad predicaments, but they often tend to put themselves in rather poor predicaments as well. Okay, so we're gonna move on. Oh no, we're not. And Gemini. So Gemini, the Magician card is actually ruled by the zodiac sign Gemini. So keep that in mind. Geminis are very calculating. Are very thorough. They're often underestimated, even though they're one of the most, if not the most, besides Sagittarius and Scorpio and Pisces. Uh, some of the most, and Virgo, hated signs that there are. Everybody just hates Geminis. They just do. Um, I think Gemini is pretty cool. The Magician card in the tarot is ruled by the sign Gemini, which is what makes Ivy a perfect plant for control. So magic, control magic, love magic. Maybe not necessarily control magic, but that's what it is at the end of the day, whether you like it or not. Um, so Gemini definitely. That's why. Let's move on to air. The element air. Love the element air. In the tarot, air can represent the Fool, the swords, and the wands. So once again, write that down if you read the tarot. The element air is masculine. Um, its chakras include the crown chakra, the heart chakra, and the throat. Its number is 5. I'm not going over the number 5 again since we spent the beginning of this class going over it. It governs your communication, acceptance, intellectual development, intuition, protection. So in this particular case, I would use it to protect from interference. Um, I don't like the idea of somebody coming in and like attempting to interfere with what I'm doing. So I would use the air element to stop that from happening. Um, I know what you're thinking. Fire is a good herb to use. I mean, a good element to use too. But this is why we use air, especially when it comes to ivy. So, what else? What else? What else? Write that down. So protect you from interference. It governs your harmony. Magic willpower can bring about messages from spirit, communication, like I said, and intelligence, sense of smell. Uh, and so, with all that being said, the tools that you would use when it comes to the air element, or if you were trying to inspire air element based practices, depending on what you're doing, your air element based work, I would recommend using incense and prayer. So incense because of your sense of smell, prayer because of communication. Um, and the last ingredient, y'all, we're on number 3. We're on number 3. Okay, I think we made pretty good time. The last ingredient that I chose is cloves. I love cloves, and I'm just gonna give y'all a few quick tips on how I use cloves or what I used them for. So, as you all know, cloves is actually ruled once again by Scorpio, but it's also ruled by Leo, Pisces, Sagittarius. Those are not the only four. I believe there's one more, but I didn't write it down. Um, it's masculine. It's ruled by the earth and fire signs. In this particular case, we would use it for really? For the fire signs. Well, for both. It also governs your throat chakra and is governed by the sun. So fire. Um, Actually, in this case, earth. I actually wrote that down. I'm glad I did. In this case, I would use the earth element to root my intentions uh in this work. So that's what you would use cloves for in love work. You can use cloves to bound the lover to you. Specifically bounding them to prayers of this work. Write that down. Or ground your intentions so that they're clear and consistent. So you don't keep changing your mind. You become nervous or anxious. So you're like, oh, maybe I should change the work that I'm doing. This will prevent that from happening. I've done that before. Attempted to change my work midway through because I thought it wasn't working. Ended up being a complete fucking mess. Don't do that. So cloves is more so an ingredient to use on yourself, definitely an ingredient to use on the other individual as well. So you would just enchant it for double intentions. If you used it in love work, I would enchant it so I don't go overboard. I would also enchant it so I don't become anxious and mistake my intuition. I mean, mistake my paranoia for intuition. I would also use it to root this other person. Uh, so I'm not questioning their response to the magic. I'm not questioning what the outcome will be. There's nothing for me to worry about at that point because everything's been taken care of. It's also brown. The color brown, as you all know, is a color of progression as well, whether you know it or not. It's why we use brown to move when you're trying to move into a new home and things of that nature. It's used for grounding. You know, brown can also be used for protection, all these other great things. And brown is a root color. It's the color of the earth. Cloves. Cloves also have a burning red brown color, as I just stated, and a distinctive smell. When using cloves, I would use them to enchant for a lot of protection, but I would be careful about using cloves. Depending on who you do the work on, you never know who may have their own practitioner that they may go see. You never know what someone else's gifts may be. You never know what they may be able to smell. I would be very careful about using a whole lot of cloves when it comes to work. When it comes to you being around another person and them being able to distinguish that smell, because cloves does have a distinctive smell. But considering, I wouldn't say that without telling you how to fix it. uh, Considering that cloves also govern the sense of smell, I would use cloves to control this other person's sense of smell. So I would enchant the cloves to make sure that every time this person smelled the cloves, their remembrance of this distinctive smell being around me specifically, they wouldn't have no recollection of it. They wouldn't think too much of it. It's not something that they would mention to another person as something that they would consider strange. Yes, I'm crazy. Yes, I didn't thought about all this. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. See, girl, come talk to me. Y'all know I do love readings on Fridays. It's the only day I offer love readings. Y'all better ask somebody. And make sure y'all join Patreon so you can become a part of the Love Army on Discord. I love my Love Army. We It's a great support system for those of you that are not able to join mentorship just yet. And you just like the way I come on here and I talk, you know what I'm saying? So by all means, come join the Love Army. Make sure that you're going to the Hoodoo shop to get your 10% off on Black Friday because the timer is scheduled to shut off, I believe the day of or the day afterwards. So make sure that you're going in there and getting the courses while you still can, especially from the Pussy Prayers courses. Y'all already know, for those of you that have already made your love set, we had wonderful results and we had a great time. Your love tea courses, I know you all love the love tea. Um, the honey pot course, which was actually the second in the Pussy Prayer series, for those of you, y'all, if you know, you know. And I released a second part to the honey pot course on Patreon, so you have to be a part of Patreon to go see it. um I know I was forgetting some, and a fantasy lamp course. So there's just a lot that a lot of you have missed out on. If you like me, I like you too. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you go get what you need. um but I'm not done yet. We're almost done. um so this is from personal experience. I'm gonna tell y'all, and I'm gonna tell y'all to use this tidbit of information very wisely. Um, so when chewed, cloves when chewed, like I said, from personal experience, with the intention slash enchantments, it can be blown into the face. Not the cloves blown into the face, but that smell on your breath blown into the face of your lover, uh, as a method of persuasion. So a method of control. Bitch, like a tic tac. Hmm. Like a tic tac. Um, interesting. You don't want to know how I found that out, but it was intuition, and I did it. And when I saw the results, it was over with. So try it. Try it. Um, what else? What else? What else? I ooh, I'm not gonna say that on here. I'm not gonna say that on here. But I just thought about what one of y'all thought about, and you better not, because it's gonna burn him. Don't do that. Cloves are used for attraction, prosperity, of course, persuasion, protection, sex, lust, and binding magic. Cloves, being governed by the throat chakra, makes its magic most prominent in teas. And that is all. That's all I'm teaching y'all for today. That's it. Y'all not getting nothing else out of me. Um, if you don't already, I would recommend that you get these books. Damn it, I don't want to pull it. Hold on, y'all. So if you're a part of mentorship, you already know that you have to have these books. Not me advertising for somebody else's books. Go buy my shit before you buy theirs. Uh, and this one. So I still recommend going to the School of African Magic first, because you then have somebody that's already picked through the information. They can tell you what's true and what's not. Because it does take a lot of discernment, you know. So, but that's it, guys. Like I said in the description below, send your love donations for this free class, because, like I said, I'm in California and it's definitely 8:44, 8:45 a.m. over here. Okay, so it's early. Um, um, if you like this class, you can treat me to lunch. Let me stop playing. But I really enjoyed this class with you guys. I should be teaching another one on Friday, probably Friday morning. Um, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know. It'll be available here. You can come back and watch it anytime. And bye, everybody. And make sure y'all go get y'all's Love Sap courses and all the other courses that y'all need to go get, so you can catch up. And go join Patreon. And go book your appointments with me at the Voodoo Institute. Okay, bye.